Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode number 22 of everything that I've learned from Anthony Robbins over the years. It's an overcast morning here in Sydney town, and we've got yet another cruise ship coming in to dock up at the International Passenger Terminal. And it's great to be alive. It's great to be able to get up in the morning, do our morning prepping, our prayers, and to be thankful for all the wonderful things that we have in our lives, and to also live with positive expectancy, where we look forward to many more beautiful moments in our lives, in our days, in our relationships, in our work. Because Anthony Robbins reminds us, what you focus on is what you get. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. And as I mentioned yesterday, I've decided to do a special tribute to the great man Anthony Robbins, and to put together a video series of 365 videos, 365 vlogs, detailing all that I've learned over the years based on the teachings of the great man Anthony Robbins. So this is episode number 22 of 365, and whilst 365 videos sounds a lot to most people, my video library, my YouTube channel, which is probably one of the biggest in the world, has over 1,600 videos on personal development, including book summaries, life experiences, and just chats that we have along the way, where we can take OPE, other people's experiences, and incorporate them into our lives so that we can make better decisions and look forward to living a better quality life. So what I wanted to talk about today was something very profound that Anthony Robbins talked about. He didn't talk about it, interestingly enough, he didn't say it at UPW 23, but he did focus and harp on it a lot in UPW 94 and 95, so much so that it's remained with me, and it's a profound sort of moment that got me thinking. And what I'd like to do today is to share that teaching that Anthony Robbins told and shared with his audiences back then. And I think it's also covered in his book or books, Awaken the Giant Within and Unlimited Power. It must be buried in there somewhere, because what I did learn was that when you do go to a UPW, it's basically all covered in his books anyway. So there's not all that much original material. It's just the experience that makes it special. The experience, the energy of being with so many people in the one place at the one time, that makes UPW one of the greatest events that you'll ever go to. It's like a rock concert on steroids, and unlike a rock concert that lasts for 2 or 3 hours, this one here goes for 4 days and 4 nights, about 10 hours or 12 hours a day. So there's lots of dancing, there's lots of singing, there's lots of up and down emotion, and it's one of those experiences, as I mentioned, that is a decisive milestone moment for most people. Because what it does is it gets people to understand themselves better, what makes them tick, but it also enables them to understand what makes other people tick in their lives as well, and gives them an opportunity to reflect on their past life, on what they're currently doing, and basically gives them an opportunity to make the right choices from here on in, and to know that everybody is a work in progress. Nobody is perfect. We're all growing and developing, and we're all at different seasons. Some people are in summer, others are in winter. Some are in autumn, others are in spring. And those seasons fluctuate over the years, but they also fluctuate throughout the day with our mood swings and all of those other things that happen to us that we need to learn to deal with. So the profound statement that Anthony Robbins made back then, and he may have said it this time round, but I missed it, but I doubt it, because my reticular activating system would have been on high alert to try and pick it up. And he said that people communicate, people say things for one of two reasons. It's either an act of love or a cry for help. So let's examine that. Let's talk about that a little bit more, because as I say, it was a profound sort of statement for me as a 30-year-old, as a young husband, as a young father, to hear these statements that people communicate for one of two reasons. It's either an act of love, so you're doing it to show, to express, to offer your love to someone else or to yourself, or it could be a cry for help, just like a child. When a child cries, it's in many ways a cry for help. And as a parent, as a human, what we do is we respond to that in a caring way. And of course, if we don't respond to it in a caring way, then it can be a slither of damage, a step of damage that child may carry throughout their lives. So when we understand, or if we understand this belief that people communicating and saying things and doing things is either an expression of love or a cry for help, then you listen differently. It gives one an opportunity to be more nuanced in what they're looking for and what they listen out for. Because if it's one of two things, then you can respond in a way which is going to be empowering for you and can be empathetic and helpful for those who are doing the communication, the cry for help or the act of love. And that's why, in many ways, we need to be grateful for all the things that we have in our world and in our lives, because not everybody, as Anthony Robbins says, sees life through the same lens. Now, we've all lived different lives. We've all lived a different past. Even if you're married and joined at the hip, your past, your present, and your future is going to be completely different from your partner and completely different from your twin, your identical twin, because what you focus on and the meaning that you attach to things varies dramatically from person to person. And once again, it's a incremental sort of stepping stone, because the meaning that you attach to things also shapes, colours and alters your lens so that you see things a little bit more differently next time around, because what it does is it gives you perspective, gives you a different perspective based on the experiences that you've had. Anyway, let me just pause here because I'm at the front of the Opera House. As you can see, it's not going to be a great sunrise this morning because it's very cloudy on the horizon. Don't know what these are here. This must be some sort of art installation. It could be something to do with sculptures by the sea, which is kicking off, I think, over the next few days. And lo and behold, what do we got here? Hello. We've got a seal. We've got Sammy the seal here. Let me go around the other side and continue my vlog with our little guest. Our little guest today, Sammy the seal. How funny is that? I remember seeing him years ago down here, him or his cousin, and it's just beautiful to be one with nature. Whoever thought that you could be standing here by yourself with a magnificent harbour bridge in the background and have a massive seal on the steps of the Opera House. So I'll just go for a walk through here. It just looks beautiful, just something different. It's important to understand, as we said before, that humans communicate either through an act of love or a cry for help, and it's important to keep an ear out for what you think is happening and to offer a helping hand to those who need help, and to understand that, you know, people, as Anthony Robbins says, are at different seasons, are at different stages, are experiencing different chapters in their life. And whilst we could be experiencing spring or summer, they could be experiencing autumn or winter. And we need to meet people where they're at in the season that they're at in order to understand them better and to be able to work with them and help them express their love, because love is give and take. I worked with a fellow named Kenny, who was a security guard, a lovely guy, very, very intelligent, went to university as a 14-year-old, very independent, very hard-headed, and very, very opinionated in many ways. And what amazed me about Kenny was that he would never, ever let anybody help him do anything. I'd offer to carry his bag whilst he carried other things, or carry a chair, but he said, no, don't touch it. And he was a little bit aggressive about it as well, which was quite funny and quite cute, that he just wanted to do things on his own. He didn't want any help from anybody else. And I said, Kenny, that's really, really good to be independent, but what you're going to do through this independence is you're going to miss out on things as well in your life. And he said, what do you mean? And I explained to him that love is giving and receiving. You need to give people an opportunity. You need to invite people into a loving relationship. And I'm not saying a sexual relationship, but I'm just meaning an exchange of goodness, an exchange of gratitude. Let people do things for you, and then you do that things for them. Because one of the key things that I've learned at Anthony Robbins as well is if you want somebody to like you, then you've got to allow them to do something for you. It's really important. As silly as it sounds, the best thing you can do to test whether or not somebody likes you or not is to ask them to do you a favour. And if they're ready, willing and able to do you a favour, then that in itself suggests that they do like you. And I'd say to Kenny that you need to be able to loosen up, mate. Loosen up and allow people to do things for you. It doesn't show weakness. It doesn't mean that you're incapable. It just means that you're doing the dance. You're participating in the dance of relationship where you give and take. Take and give. The problem occurs when some people just want to take and other people just want to give. There needs to be a balance, a fine balance. And it's hard to figure out the balance. Let's get it right and let's be honest with ourselves, because some people just want to overgive and overhug until they suffocate that relationship. So a powerful lesson from Anthony Robbins in the fact that people, when they communicate, are telling you what's going on in their mind and in their heart. And it's up to you to respond in kind, to be nice to them, to be caring for them, and to engage them where they are as opposed to where you are. And not to get offended. This is very, very important. I had an uncle of mine who has since passed away, Theo Vlassi. And I always used to be charmed by him and amazed that even when people insulted him directly or indirectly, he would never react in a negative way. And I asked him, I said, Theo Vlassi, how come you don't get angry when people say silly things or treat you badly? And his response was, Έχω μάθει με τη ζωή να μη παραξηγέμαι. I've learnt through life not to get offended, because by getting offended is one of the things that causes grief to most people. There are lots of things that happen on a daily basis in our lives that can cause offence. But if you hold on to these things, that's where you get into grief, because once you get offended, it's very, very hard to become unoffended. And once you see something, then it's hard to unsee it. Or when you hear something, it's hard to unhear it. And then you spend your life, you waste your life just wondering and worrying about why they said it, why they did it, why, and you create all of these negative scenarios in your head. And Theo Vlassi also mentioned, and Anthony Robbins talks about this as well, he says most people don't get up in the morning to go out of their way to cause other people problems. It's the last thing on people's mind. It's not their intention. If it is their intention, then that's another thing. But most people don't intend to offend people. They just want to engage. They just want to voice their opinion, have a bit of a laugh. So it's up to us to meet them where they are and not to meet them where we are. And to understand that just because we're sensitive about something doesn't mean that we need to get offended about it because other people are not going out of their way to cause offence. It's us who create the problem by focusing and holding on to it too intently, if you get the drift. The other thing that Anthony Robbins also talks about, and we'll just go on another tangent now, and I saw it in all its glory at the grand final this year, the NRL grand final that was held at Homebush between the Penrith Panthers and the Brisbane Broncos, where the game seesawed from one side leading to the other side leading, and the crowd roared and was silenced throughout the game. So it was one of those classic grand finals, one of those absolutely fantastic grand finals that had a bit of everything. And Penrith Panthers were the favourites to win. They'd won the previous two grand finals, and they were playing for a three-peat, something that hadn't happened until the early 80s, where Parramatta won 81, 82 and 83. So no other team has done it since then. And Penrith scored first, and they were looking pretty good because Brisbane were making lots and lots of unforced errors, uncharacteristic, but sadly it was the case. Anyway, I'll move away from here. See you later, Sammy. And then at half time they went in. It was 8-6. Brisbane scored a try just before half time to get them back into the match, and I thought, oh, this is good, at least it'll keep it interesting. And then lo and behold, in the second half, the Brisbane side came out and were on fire and scored a number of quick tries and shot ahead to a lead of 24-8. And it really looked like Penrith were down and out. They just didn't look strong. They looked listless. Everything they did appeared predictable, and Brisbane surely had their measure. They were faster, they were more creative, and as I said, they scored 3 tries that broke the heart of the Penrith supporters, and it looked like it broke the heart of the team as well. And with 20 minutes to go, there was no way in the world that you thought that Penrith could ever come back. And then they scored a try, kicked the goal, but still they were just a long way from winning that match. And then lo and behold, Nathan Cleary came into his own, and Anthony Robbins talks to us about this as well at his seminars, and he uses another example, and I've just forgotten his name now, but Tom Brady, that's right, Tom Brady, the gridiron player, and he says that Tom Brady comes into his own towards the end of the match when most of the other players are fatigued and have basically given up hope. And he says that Tom Brady, when they do measurements on his physiology, apparently his testosterone shoots up to a dramatic sort of level in his bloodstream that allows him to do things that other players have never been able to do before, and enables him to think more clearly, act more bravely, and just pulls off these miracle plays. And this is what Nathan Cleary did. He just took over in that last 10 minutes and just he did a 40-20 kick and got him into position, and he scored. He set up the try before the winning try. He set that one up, kicked the goal, and he also scored the winning try and kicked the winning goal. And I remember him after scoring the try, he gets up and he slaps his chest and he says clearly, loudly, and he roared, "I am the man." And this is where Anthony Robbins says that it's important to anchor positive experiences with tremendous emotion so that you anchor it, and you've got it there, and you've got it there to call upon it at another time in your life when you're feeling down, at another time in your life when things aren't going the best. But you need to be able to call on these resources from time to time in order to get through the downs in life, because life is a series of ups and downs. Life can't be up all the time. Things can't be great all the time. There are times when we want to relax and take it easy, like Sammy down here, and there are times when we need to reward ourselves. So it's all about making or using physiology and energy and emotion to generate patterns and bank away those patterns for another day. So the key is to anchor and to celebrate the wins whenever you can, and not to be humble when it comes to celebration. We need to celebrate as best we can with all of our energy, to explode into celebration, because that emotion anchors that thing that has just happened, and in the ingraining process, the synapse creates a stronger electrical current between those neurons, and it turns the lane, the avenue, the street, the road into a glorious autobahn that you can call upon at any time, and you don't have to think about it. So this whole concept of celebrating and also grieving, there are things that we grieve, but we need to grieve with strength. We need to cry it out. There's no use in hindering emotion and under expressing oneself, because that under expression, that hindering of your authentic self, will cause you problems later on, because life is up and down, a roller coaster. It's exhilarating, but the contrast between the up and the down is where the beauty is. If all of your life is replayed and lived and celebrated as a 5 out of 10, then you're not going to be able to tell the difference between good times and bad times. Everything's going to be the same. And God doesn't make the world the same. He has cyclones, He has storms, He has lightning, He has thunder, but He also has rainbows and sunshine and all of the other beautiful things that happen at this time of the year. So we too need to be an expression of nature and learn to be able to make the most of the season that we're in, and to celebrate and to commiserate and to grieve in the appropriate fashion at the appropriate time, so that we can incorporate that, we can bank those away And those contrasts are what enable us to look back over our lives and to know that we've lived our life authentically and have got the full multicolour kaleidoscope expression of our life, and not just a reduced version, not just the vanilla version, but the full flavoured version of everything that we've ever done. So it's important, as we say, to use these anchors to anchor the positives and to focus on the things that are empowering. A lot of people have a problem, and that problem is that they focus on the negatives and they welcome the negatives in their lives, and they anchor those negatives with depressive emotion, with anxiety, with things that make those negative moments ever so real. Anthony Robbins reminds everybody that we've all had a life with lots of positives and lots of negatives. We've made lots of great decisions and lots of shitty decisions. But some people seem to put a greater weight and a greater significance on things that aren't going to empower them. And the fact that you've put this significance and this weighting on things that are not empowering is where the problem is. It's what you're holding on to. Now you can focus on looking at those grey clouds over there, for example, or you can look at this beautiful harbour bridge, or this ocean liner, or this cityscape, or the wonderful opera house. Now you can choose what you focus on. You can choose the emotion and the weighting that you place on things. And once again, Anthony Robbins suggests and calls us to action, to weight things and to focus on things that are going to empower you. Anthony Robbins back in the 90s there talked about, even back then there were conspiracy theories and conspiracy theorists. And he said something really interesting as well. He says, I hear all these conspiracy theories and I hear all these stories that people say to themselves about things which are negative, and they keep on focusing on the negative aspects, on the government and their mother-in-law and their brother, and how somebody ripped them off. And he says that you've got these stories that you keep on replaying over and over and over again about the conspiracies that happen in the world and all these things, how they've conspired to work against you. But he says that holding on to those things, you've got to ask yourself one question. How is this belief that I have about the government, about my family, about myself, how are these things going to help you? How are these beliefs going to empower you? And what you realize is that these beliefs don't empower you at all. What they actually do is that they disempower you, they imprison you, they lock yourself away, they keep you separated from the people who you love and who love you, because of the way you think, because of the things you focus on, the things you hold on to. Instead of holding on to and focusing on the negative aspects, you've got all these other aspects that you can also choose to hold on to and to be gracious about and to be thankful for and to express gratitude for. The choice is yours, and what you choose, you'll get to live and enjoy. Or it can be, as I say, the thing that you get punished with over and over again. Now, we've only got one lifetime. We haven't got time to waste on things which are negative, that things that are going to eat away at us and cause us significant problems forever and a day. Because if you're unhappy, if you're unfulfilled, then other people around you that you touch are also going to suffer the same thing as well. You're going to be the messenger of bad tidings and bad feelings, and the chemistry is going to be felt by everybody in your life as well. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me on this episode 22 of all that I've learned from Anthony Robbins over the years. It's a different perspective today. I've come over here to the Opera House side to take this video. Lord knows what sort of day it's going to be today. We've got cloud on one side and blue sky or less cloudy sky on the southern side. Dare I say, it's going to be a mixed bag. Just hope it doesn't rain and it's not too cold. And I can see those jacaranda trees over there on the other side just starting to mauve up, and I just can't wait to take my wife and my sister-in-law to go and see those jacaranda trees on the other side there, because around about November is when these trees are at their finest. And as my Gubara Evelyn Caravilla says, the best and most beautiful jacaranda tree is the one that your neighbour has, not the one you have in your own house. I love that quote. Anyway, take care, have a good day, wishing you all the best, and we'll see how we go. But every day is another video, every day is another message of love and empowerment from the great man Anthony Robbins. And as I say, I'll try to continue along this path, if I have health of course, to be able to do one a day and to share the many lessons that Anthony Robbins has been able to share with millions of people throughout the world over the past 40 or so years in his life. Anthony Robbins and I are the same age, and it would be great to carry on and to record a tribute and create a legacy for him, given from a different perspective, but to capture it and to pass it on. Because at the end of the day, our role in life is to live, learn and pass it on, rather than to live, learn and just keep it to ourselves, which a lot of people do. So take care, wishing you all the best, and as Anthony Robbins says, live with passion. Take care, yasas, and bye for now.